The following is a program of the Santa Barbara County Education Office. To learn more, visit sbceo.org.
I'm Susan Salcido, Santa Barbara County Superintendent of Schools, and I am so delighted to welcome and introduce my guest today, Aniela Hoffman, who's a music teacher at Arellanes Junior High School in the Santa Maria Bonita School District. Aniela was recently named 2019 Santa Barbara Bowl Performing Arts Teacher of the Year. Congratulations and welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here today. Can't wait to share your story. It's a really great story for the viewers to hear. And I think a great place to start is way back with your childhood, where you were born, and a little bit of your background. Would you mind sharing?
Well, I was born on a military base in Arkansas, and so I did spend time traveling with my family. I lived in Missouri for a little while, but I spent my teen years in Pennsylvania. And that's how I ended up going to Gettysburg College. But prior to that, I discovered music around 9th grade. Mm-hmm. And so a friend of mine said, would you like to join marching band? And I thought, well, that would be perfect. It'd be a lot of fun, but I don't play an instrument. So at that point, I took some private lessons and joined the band. And that changed my life.
9th grade, picked up an instrument and joined the band, and that was a big turning point for you.
Absolutely.
What was the instrument of choice?
Tenor saxophone.
And how did you choose that? How did that come to be?
I'm not even sure. At this point, when I look back, it just felt like the right place to go. And I found a wonderful teacher who helped me to get caught up. And didn't take long. I wanted to learn all of the instruments.
Did you? And so what are some of the instruments that you know how to play?
Well, by the second year, I wanted to pursue the trumpet as well. So I was really working hard on learning to play the brass instruments and then continuing on the saxophone. And when you go to college and you study music education, you have a chance to experience and learn all of them, at least at a beginning level.
Mm-hmm. So, Aniela, you went to school in Gettysburg. That was where you went to college. What was your major?
I studied music education, and so it was weird. It was a Bachelor of Science in Music Education was the official degree, and so it was a blending of pedagogy and learning all the different instruments and instructional strategies with the performance component. Mm-hmm. And so you had a chance to perform in marching bands, orchestras, concert bands, jazz bands, as well as learning all the technique and skills to pass that on to students.
What a great experience. And so draw us the bridge or the picture to how you went from studying music education to then becoming a teacher.
At first, I thought I wanted to be a college professor.
Okay.
And as time went on, I just learned to love the idea of introducing students to music for the first time. Mm-hmm. And so opening that gateway to this enormous world of creativity and performance is where I wanted to be.
And Pennsylvania and Santa Maria, far away from one another, how did you end up getting to Arellanes Junior High School?
Through Las Vegas.
Okay.
So right after college, I began my career in Las Vegas, which was hiring a lot of teachers, and I ended up teaching orchestra and guitar explorations, which were neither of my specialties, playing wind instruments. Mm-hmm. But I had wonderful mentors. I had a chance to learn all of those different skills. I took many courses while I was there, and eventually just decided that I wanted to return to the band world. I wanted to be closer to family. I love California. It's so beautiful here, the mm-hmm. coast and the wildlife and the nature. And so when the opportunity became available to earn my credential and to apply, I was delighted to just begin the search.
And you've been here for 5 years, I understand.
Yes.
And in Las Vegas, I think, was it 13 years?
13.
Yeah, so you've been teaching for 18 years.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, no, it goes by fast, I'm sure. And I know from talking with you that Arellanes is just a really special place for you and a wonderful district in which to teach. And it seems like one of the goals that you have is really bridging some of the levels of school. So you're in junior high, unique perspective to support elementary students and then support them as they go on into high school. Is that something that you're really focused on in terms of bridging the feeder schools into junior high and experiences? And say more about what you're wanting to see happen.
Yes, because when students start in elementary school, there seems to be gaps when they go to junior high or when junior high students go on to high school where they disappear. And so I would like for them to have the opportunity to experience the program and to see from very early on, from 4th, 5th, 6th grade onward, that it can be something that's part of their lives through their whole educational experience and beyond. And so I began combining the elementary and junior high concerts. The students could see and hear and experience the music at different levels, and then bringing the high school groups into the mix as well, even having the junior high and high school students combine for performances. Space was an issue, so we did end up having to search for different venues, whether it was the gymnasium or calling around to different churches to see if they had performance venues. And ultimately, we ended up doing some performances at the high school theater. Very exciting because our students could play on a real stage with just the beautiful ambiance of the place.
And how do you think that experience has impacted your students?
They feel more connected to each other. They look forward to the next step rather than being afraid of the next step. And ultimately, they get to know the directors in the new locations. I'm lucky enough to teach many of my elementary students, so they already know me. But for the ones that have other teachers at other elementary sites, they can have a chance to meet me and see that it's a wonderful experience. And then the same thing, they get to know the high school directors and vice versa and feel like they're already a part of that family, the group, before they even have a chance to attend the school.
That's fantastic. One of the things that I have learned about you is that not only do you teach, but you actually perform. You're part of a quartet, my understanding is, a sax quartet. And is it true that your students are able to hear and watch you perform as well?
Yes. In the last couple of years, a few of my colleagues and myself realized that we are all love classical music and love classical saxophone and formed this quartet where we can go out and play at chamber concerts. And we wanted to bring that to the students, so we'll play at some of the student concerts. And it's really exciting to watch the students see what can be possible for them if they continue learning their instruments, developing their skills. And for me, I love performing. It's just a wonderful way to go and learn and grow and be able to take all those experiences that the professionals have and bring them back to my students. I feel like when I go to a slow San Luis Obispo Wind Orchestra rehearsal, I can take back conducting techniques, rehearsal ideas. I can learn more about tuning and bring all those ideas back to the youngest players.
So for you, playing with other musicians really helps you with instructing your students because you're really living it. You're living it, and then you can help them live it as well and bring that into your teaching and influence your students to even be better. And when they watch you perform, it's something different. They can really see themselves growing as musicians.
Yes, and then I can bring back the experiences, what was challenging for me, so I can relate to them and what they need to overcome in their own growth and experiences.
That's really great. It's not about necessarily perfection or being the very best, but it's from learning from mistakes as well and learning from challenges.
Yes.
Yes. So not only do the students watch you perform in your quartet with the other instructors, but I understand that there's an opportunity for the students to play actually with other adults as well. That's something that you've implemented, you dreamed, and it is actually happening. Can you share a little bit more about that as well?
This is really exciting. We have a wonderful staff of teachers at Arellanes Junior High School, many of which are also professional musicians, and then my fellow band directors are also professional musicians. And so we've been giving these concerts for the school where the students will play for the student body. And we'll ask if any of the teachers or any of the fellow band directors would like to jump in and join the students. And so some of them sit in with a jazz band, some of them sit in with a concert band. And it's fantastic because they can hear musicians of the professional level sitting beside them playing. They can hear the nuance, they can hear the sound quality, they can hear the stylistic things that are happening, and take all of that back, even if they don't have the words for it, into their own musical interpretation. They can also see these outstanding adults who have other specialties and see that they can have many things in their lives and be successful at many things. And so even if a student is thinking about a career that's not musical, they can see how it can still be a part of their world.
That is really exciting. My understanding too is that you brought that to your practice because you had an opportunity to participate as a student in a band like that as well. Is that right?
Yes, yes. And during high school, the Army Band had an opportunity where they invited high school students to sit in with their performers. And oh my goodness, what an amazing experience that was.
So you can feel what it was like then, and you can say that that's what your students are experiencing now. What do you think about the teachers who are part of that, who are invited to play? What do you think they get out of playing with the students right next to them?
Hopefully they feel a sense of joy in the music and camaraderie, and they feel a sense of connection that crosses over time, because age ceases to exist when you are performing music. It doesn't matter if you're 18 years old or if you're 98 years old. It's creating beautiful art for its own sake.
I'm sure it's quite a joy to be part of and to hear and to listen as well. And let's talk about something else that you brought to the city of Santa Maria, to your practice. It's something that happened for the first time in April, a performance or an event called Chords of Compassion. This, my understanding, was really an event that was meant to benefit the community, not just the schools. So say a bit about that event, how you dreamed it, how it came to be, and what it benefited.
Well, it started long before this year, thinking about different ideas that would lead myself and my fellow band director, Stephanie Douglas, to create this event. And one of the experiences that I had is that I took my students out to perform at the holidays at the homeless shelter a few years back. And poverty is a very large part of our community, as well as all of the wonderful things. And I became very aware of how many people are hungry or homeless, including some of our very students who are the residents. And so it's very widespread. And so I'm always thinking in my mind, what do we need to do to help our community, to be part of our community? We do feel a lot of support from the Elks Rodeo Parade, from all of the different events that happen. So what can we do to give back? And so my friend and I, my fellow band director, were walking through this park, and we saw this gazebo, the amphitheater-style seating, and it kind of brought back memories of summer bands in the park, something that we don't really experience very often in today's world. And the thought of bringing that to our students, bringing our students together from elementary, junior high, high school levels, and then combining it with a charity event. What could we do? How could we make this real? So we decided to have our families bring non-perishable food to donate to the local food bank or homeless shelter or whatever organization we could find that would be beneficial to our community. And we invited all of the local schools. 4 of them decided it was good timing and they wanted to join us. Many said that they couldn't this year but would like to in the future. And so everything came together in this beautiful afternoon.
That's wonderful. So bridging all the different levels of instruction and age groups, but really to benefit poverty, the food bank, I understand, and just a really incredible community event here in Santa Maria. Very, very nice. Hopefully it'll happen again next year. It sounds like it will.
I hope so.
Good. So let's talk a little bit about an incredible award that you received just not too long ago for the 2019 Performing Arts Teacher of the Year, sponsored by the Santa Barbara Bowl. How did you find out that you were the recipient? What was that moment like?
Well, the principal called me to tell me, and I was just in shock. Oh my goodness! But more than that was the nomination that touched my heart, because it wasn't one or two people. It was most of my colleagues had gotten together to write the nomination in support of the band program, in support of me and the work that's happening, and it just really touched my heart.
Yeah, to have your peers nominate you and to write all those incredible things about you, all true and also impactful, very exciting. And the Santa Barbara Bowl, it's a place that you're getting to know more and more. They're the ones who are sponsoring this award. But of what you know so far, what are some of the things that you see that are really impactful that the bowl is doing in terms of outreach to the community?
Oh, I love that they have summer programs for students, that they help with instrument repairs, that they have camps like Girls Rock. And I'll say that that's so important because as a jazz director, I see the value of making it equitable to boys and girls, because a lot of times girls don't know that they have the same opportunities, even though to you or I, it might seem like, of course they do.
Right.
So bringing that Girls Rock program to the community is beautiful, as well as all of the things they do to support the schools.
And, you know, as Performing Arts Teacher of the Year, it's a really special opportunity, a platform, so to speak, for you to highlight music, arts instruction in our schools, in our community, and for our students. So for you, can you share some of your thoughts around the enrichment and the support, maybe even the identity that comes through with music instruction for our students?
I think it impacts students on three very important levels. And the first would be that it helps them. It helps them to grow through motor skills, through neural connections. They learn language. They learn mathematics in real time. And so that's just one level. On another level, they build character and self-esteem. They learn teamwork. They foster a sense of self-pride. They do all these amazing things together, as well as developing self-discipline. Just all the wonderful ways that they develop their creativity. But then finally, I think the most important thing that really touched my life is how music connects all of us, how it brings people together, how it connects us with ourselves, it connects us with our emotions, and in many ways it can make life have a great depth and great meaning beyond any words.
That's really, really powerful. It really does transform and can transform a life of one of our youth in our schools in terms of the community, their sense of self, and all of the different three areas that you touched on. It's a really incredible, important piece of the lives of our students who really appreciate that music and arts instruction in their day. Thank you for sharing that. So Aniela, you've taught for 18 years, 5 here at Arellanes, this year Performing Arts Teacher of the Year. Have there been special highlights over the years that really built up to where you're able to articulate, just as you did, what music instruction means for students? How has that really built over the years?
I think it's a continuous growth where you keep learning new skills, keep learning new things, and then you see that reflected back from your students' experiences. And there's two moments that I just remember very distinctly in the last few years. One was where my students were making a recruitment video, and they were talking about what music meant to them. And one girl went on camera, and I wasn't present when she did this, and she said that this is where you can be yourself. You can come here, and it doesn't matter if you're tall or short, if you're the smartest person, if you are, you know, any of these things that we might attribute to other people. But you can just be you. You can come here and learn a skill, and you are valuable. And so to me, that's just, it really seemed like a reflection of all of the things that we work towards, all of the skills, just making students feel welcome and appreciated, and giving them the tools to succeed outside of that.
That's great. And you were saying there were a couple of things. One was a video. Was there a particular other event?
There was. When I used to teach in Las Vegas, we would go to festivals annually, and we would perform for adjudicators, and then they would go into a clinic afterwards with that adjudicator where they would talk to them about the musical components. And the adjudicator happened to be one of the composers from a piece they had previously played. And so the students
Wow.
recognized her and began asking her questions about why she wrote this piece of music and how it came together. And it was just almost magical. And then they connected in that way.
That's really great. I love that you shared those two events that have really led to where you are today. I'm sure there are many, many more other than those two. So Aniela, I'm so curious from your perspective and vantage point, what would you say is or are the best parts of being a teacher today?
Oh, I love watching students turn into musicians and grow. When they first start out, they don't know what they can do. I don't know what they can do. It's just a big open world, but I get to hand them the tools to get there. And that's just an awesome feeling. And then to watch them grow up and see them throughout their high school experiences, just really going on to be outstanding human beings.
And as a middle school, junior high teacher, you're right in the middle. You can see students come up and you can see students go into high school. Are you able to follow some of your students as they go into high school?
I am. Many of them come back to work with our jazz students and coach and mentor, and then they combine for concerts. So I get to see them perform, and they can reconnect with each other. And
such a joy, I'm sure. One of the things we didn't cover today is actually your day-to-day teaching assignment, because I've introduced you as a music teacher at Arellanes, but really your influence spreads wider than Arellanes Junior High School. Can you share a little bit about the other schools that in which you teach?
I teach at Liberty Elementary School and Arellanes Elementary School, and so at those two sites I had the ability to start the students in beginning band as early as 4th grade, and then hopefully help them to continue through 6th and on into junior high and beyond.
That's fantastic. And so you have multiple moving parts in a day. I think you had said earlier that really no day is alike, from one to the next. And you shared with us some of the best parts of being a teacher today. And there are some challenges as well. There's areas for which our system can grow and learn and get better and better. And as an instructor, music teacher, what might you say are areas in which our system could get better? Could grow?
Always having enough space and support for teachers and students in classrooms would be a definite area of growth.
Okay. And then in terms of, your day is quite busy, full. You have lots of performances, events. You're constantly moving and shaking and helping students do the same. Aniela, how do you find an opportunity to find some balance, to relax and unwind? That's really important that we do that.
It is important.
Yes.
For me, the outlet is exercise. I really love to just go for a run or to go hiking or to just even go out walking around or kayaking, enjoying our beautiful California ocean.
That's great. So you're able to unwind that way and find some balance. And what about continuing to hone your own skills, both as a teacher and as a musician? Do you find that playing in your quartet is what really helps sharpen your tools, or do you do it in other ways? Or how are you constantly learning and growing?
The quartet is definitely one of those opportunities. Also performing in the San Luis Obispo Wind Orchestra. I absolutely love working with all of the professional musicians, or even just getting together with my colleagues and working on music together, or just any of those opportunities are wonderful.
So the San Luis Obispo Orchestra, how is it? Is it a orchestra that works year round and performs year round?
The wind orchestra is like your regular orchestra, just without the strings, and they perform from September to June, with a short break in the summer.
That's great. And then you talk a lot about your colleagues from around Santa Maria that you work really closely with. I know you have a lot of great respect for them. Are they ones in your own school district? Are they through Santa Maria Bonita as well as Santa Maria Joint Union School District? How does that sort of alignment work across the grades for you?
It's both. I work more closely with the Santa Maria Bonita School District teachers because we have collaboration time together. But we also try to reach across and work with the directors at Santa Maria High School and Rigetti and Pioneer. And we have a big event every year called Bandorama where every school in the area performs, Hancock College too. That's exciting.
That's really good. Bandorama, we'll have to look for that. So Aniela, you're a veteran teacher with some really great experiences and clearly have been recognized for all of the incredible work that you've done this in your years, but this year as Performing Arts Teacher of the Year. If a new teacher were watching or somebody who is aspiring to become a teacher, what advice might you have for some of our new teachers?
Your colleagues are your greatest resources.
Great. That's great advice. So lean on your colleagues in good times and bad?
Yes.
Great. Aniela, as we wind down our interview, I want to give you an opportunity to address some of our community members who are watching today. So as a Performing Arts Teacher of the Year, from that hat and that lens, what message would you like to share with the community?
Thank you for all of your support of band and music programs throughout and for our students. And it's such a pleasure to be able to do these performances.
That's great. And what about a message to students who are watching, your students who are watching today?
I am so proud of my students. I just want to encourage them to keep being their best, to keep working hard, and to dream and go for those dreams.
And finally, what about a message to your fellow educators at Arellanes Junior High School?
I want to tell them thank you from the heart, that not only are they my colleagues, but they're my friends, they're wonderful people, and every day they just bring joy to the campus.
Oh, that's a great message. Aniela, thank you so much for sharing your background, your experience, a bit of your story. Congratulations again on being named 2019 Performing Arts Teacher of the Year. You do so much for not only your school and your district, but the community here. And you really share the joy with all of us. We're really proud of you. Congratulations, and thank you again for being here.
Thank you so much.
I'm Susan Salcido, Santa Barbara County Superintendent of Schools. Thank you so much for joining us today for this edition of Talking with Teachers.